Greetings Guardians, my name is Bife here. Welcome back to another off-the-cuff video talking about a teaser that's 15 seconds long that's going to stretch to a few minutes. Enjoy the guys complaining about that in the comments section. Anyway, moving on, this is another teaser that we got for Edge of Fate. In particular, there was a 15-second teaser here. And you know what? Yeah, 15 seconds is not a lot, but I wanted to break down some bits and pieces here because I think it plays with some interesting themes and potentially even tells us the destination of where we might be going. So, starting up at the very top, we can see that the first shot is us flying away from the planets of the solar system. In particular, you can see the 8 major remaining celestial bodies in the system. I believe that there are the 4 gas giants there. The planet that looks as though it is closest to us, I think, is actually closer by perspective, and is therefore Pluto, so Bungie is counting Pluto in that. And remember, the 3 small ones in the very back will represent Venus, Mars, and Earth. Mercury is still not returned to the system. We then get a perspective of a ship flying through the system and leaving it, bypassing this satellite, which we'll talk about in a moment, and then going all the way out to this planet that has green lines spanning off of it. I'm gonna let you know right away, I have no clue what the green lines are about. That being said, there are 9 of them. We see the 9 logo forming at the very edge of a singularity of some kind, and then the final splash screen that says the reveal date of May 6th. So yeah, despite it only being 15 seconds, there are actually a few things that we can glean. First of all, let's take a look at the satellite. This is a modern era looking satellite. This does not have any of the advanced greeblies that I would expect out of something that we've seen within our own time period. And what's even more interesting is the numbers that get a close-up readout. That right there is a date. The date keeps on cycling through different times at a very fast speed, and that makes me wonder if this is something to do with time travel or perhaps time distortion. Time distortion is also something really interesting because this is something that you will experience in some form if you're close to a strong gravity well or singularity. So yeah, interesting idea there. Time interacting differently with black holes definitely fits into the idea of the 9 law that this supposedly might be linking in with. Although something speeding up time does seem a bit weird. I don't know. One of the dates the camera briefly pans over, which is a little tricky to see because of the cracked bit of glass, but I think it is actually May 6th, 2025. So yeah, it's referring to the day of the reveal. We do also get a look at, of course, that new planet that has a bunch of green lines flowing off of it, and then we get the end screen. This, I think, is where the most interesting piece of information comes from. Take a look in the top right. There is a bit of text there. It says 0.15 KEPLE. Now, I don't know about you guys, but KEPLE, I think, is referring to Kepler. So, what is Kepler? Well, Kepler was a dude initially, but Kepler in modern terms and scientific ones refers to the Kepler Space Telescope, which was launched in 2009 and was meant to replace the better-known Hubble Space Telescope. Kepler is a designation given to a bunch of systems discovered by the Kepler telescope. The 0.15 probably means we're looking at a system that is sometimes referred to as Kepler-15. And what do you know? Kepler-15 is a star system that has a single planet referred to as Kepler-15b. It is worth noting a few things. First of all, Kepler-15 is a long way away. Like, a really long way away. So if we are going there, I wonder how we get there. Do we finally have faster than light technology? Is there some kind of way which allowed us to access Kepler-15 more quickly? I don't know. But it's gonna need to be at least a small part of the plot, because remember, currently Destiny only has near light speed drives, and Kepler-15 is so far away that even with near light speed technology, we wouldn't be reaching it anytime soon. Then again, we do also have the Cabal as part of our alliance now, and the Eliksni as well, and they may have access to lightspeed technology. After all, the Cabal had to travel here from Torobatl somehow, and the Eliksni survived the entirety of the Long Drift. So, who knows, maybe they have lightspeed tech that we can now use. Let's also talk about some other interesting bits about Kepler-15b in particular, because Kepler-15b is actually something we do know a tiny bit about, thanks to the scientific method of its discovery. We know that Kepler-15b is likely a gas giant, a planet type that is known as a hot Jupiter, in other words, a gas giant that orbits very close to its home star. That means inevitably there's going to be some interesting environments that we interact with on the surface of Kepler-15. So, strange there, but we'll see what happens. As for whether or not this is going to be the actual destination of the main Edge of Fate expansion, I mean, it seems likely, but also there are some very interesting roadblocks to that. Namely, Kepler-15b is a gas giant, so we're going to need to do some interesting exploring. That being said, that hasn't stopped us before. Remember that Neptune is also a gas giant, and Neptune is something which we're able to explore with solid ground beneath our feet. So yeah, don't worry too much about that. Destiny sometimes plays very close to the science, and sometimes it plays kind of fast and loose. Whatever the case, it'll be interesting to see what's there. I think the main contenders are probably going to be something like the Vex. There are key theories and ideas that the Vex are just all over the galaxy, seeding planets or whatever, so it's entirely possible that we find them out there in the stars. After all, the Vex were at 2082 Volantis, and that's nowhere close to us. In that instance, they took over the entire star system, so I don't think it's too out of the question that we might have some Vex activity on a random gas giant somewhere. As for other things, who knows? A loose hive colony, some wayward fallen, it's entirely possible that we get some weird forces out there. Generally, I don't know. I would expect probably not Cabal and probably not Scorn given their limited numbers. I think you can also probably rule out the Dread. Is this guaranteed to be Kepler? We don't know. But by that same token, it's something which you could at very least speculate on. And, well, we do know the Nine are at very least involved, and that leads us to very interesting ideas about what they might be doing on Kepler. So, let me know what you think down below in the comments section. As a quick note to those of you who are sticking around, you can ask me more questions about this at some point later tonight. I'm planning on doing a stream at some point this evening for Marathon. We didn't manage to get to it yesterday, but I'm going to be doing a stream of Classic Marathon ahead of doing Marathon for the closed alpha that is going on tomorrow. So you can catch me here on YouTube if you are so inclined. That being said, know that as per usual, your viewership as always is quite enough for me. And in the meantime, my name is Bife. Rodacia ad Astra. I'll see you, Starside.